This is the K-Pop Cast, and in this episode, we're discussing the hot issue of NJZ, the new branding of New Jeans, and I don't know what we can make of it, why it's interesting from like a publicity PR perspective, legal perspective, and we also look at the history, like, you know, what historical clues can we draw for what might spell for the future of NJZ or New Jeans. Man, NJZ does not roll off the tongue. Okay.
Yeah, just on that alone. Okay. All right. Yeah. We're going to get into it. But we also share hit replays from Blackpink's Jennie, IVE, and Blase featuring Jay Park and friends.
Yes, but before we get into all of that, guys, don't forget to join our K-Pop Cast listener fam on Slack and help chip in for our editing costs. Links in the description. Thanks to Lady Senza, of course, for chipping in a $15 subscription. And, of course, thank you to Liz C. for your contribution as well.
I'm DJ Peter Lowe.
I'm Stephanie.
I'm your PD and Michaela, guys, and hit replays are our K-pop song recommendations of the week. So kick us off, Peter. What is your hit replay for this week?
Yeah, I'm living it up for Jennie and her like hot girl era songs. So my hit replay this week is Jennie featuring Dominic Fike, if I'm saying his name correctly, and
yeah, sounds right.
Their song Love Hangover.
Shit, I did it again. Call me back, call me back, call me back. You know I'm gonna do it again. Call me back, call me back, call me back. You know I'm gonna do it again. Call me back, call me back, call me back. Shit, oh shit. Call me back, call me back, call me back. Shit, oh shit. Call me back.
So, if you didn't already know, Jennie is like the front girl of like Blackpink. You know, she's the bias that YG had and gave preferential treatment. Sorry, Blinks. I don't know. I think we're all thinking it. I'm just saying the quiet part aloud, I feel like. But
yep.
Yeah, she was kind of like the main visual, I want to say, for Blackpink.
Well, she was the first one they showed pictures of, right, when they were teasing the group.
Yeah. And even before the group, she was the first to collaborate with G-Dragon.
Yep.
There you go. Oh, yeah, yeah.
Great song. Still listen to that. Black.
That X or whatever the song is.
Oh, well, she was in that video. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, the song is a hit replay for me because, let me describe for you what Genius Korea wrote about this song. So they wrote that Love Hangover captures the intoxicating chaos of a love that's too hard to quit. And this is off of Jennie's first solo album, Ruby, Love Hangover. Jennie's subtle yet sultry vocals and Fike's raw verse create a track that explores the messy aftermath of passion. The song uses the metaphor of a hangover to describe the repeated cycle of breaking up, making up, and waking up with no recollection following a drunken night out. In the music video stars Riverdale alum Charles Melton, and he finds Jennie, who, despite the hilarious accidents, is a hung-up lover who keeps coming back to haunt Melton. So now that you know what they were conceptually going for with this song, sonically, I think you get that obviously as well. It's like very slow. But it's an instance where like reverb, I want to say, is like the main star of the song. And I usually hate reverb as an effect, but like think of like if you're talking to someone in like a very long hall, that's what you get with this song. Like, you know, there's a lot of like reverb or delay and echo and effects on the voices. And the other star of the show is the anti-party chorus third breakdown outro of the song, starting at 2 minutes and 18 seconds. And it's not a chorus. It's like that was the part that was stuck in my head. It was just this moment of I don't know, like long reverbery vocals, and then contrasting those like moments of reverb, you have like Jenny coming in very sharp and crispy, like whispering in your ear. And it just draws off of the main theme, but it was that hook of the outro that made me like the song. And I don't even like this genre of music, but like
right,
it somehow
usually don't pick this.
Made it into my hit replay. Yeah, Jenny is living her hot girl era. Like her song Mantra keeps getting requested at the clubs and stuff.
Mantra.
Yeah,
that's that pretty girl mantra. Yep.
Yes, that one. Yeah,
that one
all
gets
the
stuck
hot
in my
straight
head.
girls like it, but yeah.
Oh, for sure. I thought this video was hilarious. The song is still growing on me, but I liked the video concept. So silly.
Yeah, accidents is an understatement. She's literally trying to Final Destination her way out of this relationship. Like, it's not...
She's like dying. Not just
there was,
like slipping and falling, like dying almost. Yeah.
There was a GIF I put in our Slack of Jenny being like thrown down a bowling alley, like and holding onto the bowling ball as like a pulls her down the alley, and that was like me feeling like I'm being pulled into February because I was like just I don't know, work and life and stuff is just pulling me along, and I'm just holding on.
You're headed towards your demise. Not looking forward. But yeah, thanks for highlighting this one. Really looking forward to the whole album. The whole album features so many dope artists, so can't wait to like hear every single song.
All right, Stephanie, your turn. What's your hit replay?
My hit replay is a blast from the past cover remix something from Blase featuring J Park and some other folks. It's called Blasol G6.
I fly no limit overseas, that's how I'm living. Shit 6, yeah, how about the system? 여기 넘자가 니 more
the OGs from the Far East, we the gatekeepers of this party. Behind the scenes, we plotting scheme. Your favorite idols come and lobby. We getting hella love. No, we don't need no drugs. The sober girls around me, they be acting like they drunk. Hell yeah, we making the millions. Asian girls, but a happy Brazilian. How many looks sorta like a chameleon? I'm a princess, minus the rim. She mean a Janice talking crazy. I'm still flying over shit like a Jesus. Oh, just get the blessing, need your thrones and did it. I hop on the remix.
All right, so Blase is a rapper in Korea. He mainly does like drill style, like that London, UK drill style. He debuted in 2018. He's like super tall. That's the main thing I noticed about him. He's been a contender on Show Me the Money for like 4 years in a row. I think he finally popped off in 2023 when he signed with At Area, which is Groovy Room's label. And reason why this is a hit replay for me, any of y'all who were around, any of us who were around to see Far East Movement drop like a G6, and especially if you were in the Bay, which is where these guys are from, like you remember how big of a deal that song was and how big Far East Movement became. I specifically, I don't know, Peter, if you were there, but the concert Far East Movement did with Epic High in 2009 in San Francisco. Okay.
I wasn't there, but I have
you were there.
met and seen Far East Movement in person before.
There you go. Yes. Yeah. Far East Movement actually did a fan meet for Soompiers. Yes, we call ourselves.
Of course they did.
Yes, at the NorCal Soompi meetup in March 2009. I went back and found it. So when I heard this, when I heard the Like a G6 beat, I was like, oh, I just a smile spread across my face. And I really like what they did with it. Especially like J Park's verse near the end. Like just so nostalgic, so fun.
Guilty confession time. I know I shouldn't say this because of how this song paved the way for like the Asian American community and like entertainment, but I actually think G6, that beat is like so bad. But I will say how it was reimagined as a Jersey Club beat in this song You know, made me think it was actually made for a Jersey club, beat and rhythm. It sounds better this way, honestly.
I can see that.
And it doesn't have like really bad. Yes. But with like the Jersey club, percussion rhythm. Yeah. And then, and it doesn't have the getting drunk, lyrics, which were just, I don't know, so dumb. But popular, I think, for that reason at that time.
Exactly.
You say Jersey club, Peter, but I say like what Stephanie, like UK drill, UK grime music. Like he specifically shouts out like soul to London in this song, and like he chooses the more like UK pronunciation of certain English words, especially in that first verse. So I feel like, especially if you look back to his earlier releases from 2018, he was very much influenced by a lot more of the UK artists.
Oh, maybe there's a fusion here.
Yeah. Just like trap was like an EDM thing, and then it became more of a hip hop thing. So, yeah.
They're all intertwined. But yeah, that's my hit replay. I'm going to hand it off to Michaela. What's yours?
Best hit replay of the week.
Always.
My hit replay is Ives' Attitude. If you don't know who Ive is and you listen to our show, shame on you. But for the people that don't know, of course, they are the 6-member girl group from Starship Entertainment and also Columbia Records. Found that out. I didn't know that they were also under Columbia. They debuted in 2021, so this is their 4th year, or at least the end of 2025 will be their 4th year in the game. And fun fact, they were Forbes Asia's 30 under 30 in 2024 for entertainment and sports. So good for them. I don't know what that necessarily means as far as
For the PR team who submitted them. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, but obviously, it's that sample for this song, specifically was it Suzanne Vega Tom's Diner song sample that you hear at the end of the chorus. So this song was immediately an earworm just because, again, that's such an iconic hook. But I think they kind of like listened to our critique, Peter, because your hit replay last week was Rebel Heart. And Rebel Heart was actually the title track of the EP that this song comes from. And we kind of criticized them that they weren't doing like things that were very rebellious. But with this music video, they were like, bet. And we're going to overthrow this monolith, this like oppressive society with individualism, property damage, and dance.
And commoditized egg yo. I don't know. I don't know. I'm not getting like Brown Eyed Girls, like, 6th Sense, rebelliousness,
rebellion. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I agree with you, but I feel like
maybe they're heading in the right direction.
Yes, heading in the right
direction. It takes a while
direction.
after you hear a critique to actually
red lip. No.
Yeah, there we go.
No. Yeah.
I love that song. Anyways,
it feels like what is it? They're trying to like take all popular melodies and then just make a song out of each one.
They're trying to find their sound in this era.
Like Mamamoo did that for a while. What years were they doing that? It was like maybe 2018, 2019 that Mamamoo was doing that a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And that tracks because, like I said, this is around the fourth year. So, the next 3 years are very important for them.
I know. Heading towards the 7-year course.
Until it just becomes Wan Young.
Wan Young and friends.
Doing solo stuff. I don't know.
Yeah, but that's it for my hit replay. Should we get into another group who is heading in a very interesting direction with their career?
Oh, that's the segue right there.
That's
All
the
right.
segue.
Thanks for
Nice.
And I'm gonna hand the TLDR over to Peter because he actually did most of the research for this episode.
Okay.
So Peter,
Yeah.
what are we talking about today?
that. All right. So you've listening, and chances are you're listening to this episode because you caught wind of NewJeans creating a big press conference on, well, recently. Let's dive into it. So the 5 members, Minji, Hani, Danielle, Herin?
Yeah, Hayden.
Yeah, guys, with my pronunciation.
Sure.
And Hayen,
Mm-hmm.
they officially announced their rebranding as NJZ. And, like, I didn't think of it when I was reading it, but then, like, now saying it, I'm like, oh my God, that is not easy to say, like NewJeans. They announced their rebranding on February 7th, 2025. And they are currently in a legal dispute with a former label, ADOR, a subsidiary of Hybe. And the conflict stems from November 2024 when the group terminated their contract with ADOR, citing allegations of mistreatment, manipulation, and workplace harassment. The situation was
Precipitated.
was made worse by Hybe's firing of former ADOR CEO Min Hye-jin, whom the group strongly supported. So in this press conference on February 7th, they said that they were working hard to resolve everything and get back to normal. And that, quote, we don't want the legal dispute with their agency, ADOR, to be the focus of our careers. And after carefully choosing the opinions of their fans, they chose the name NJZ, which maintains the essence of their original name. It certainly does. I think it borders on being too close, but maybe it'll work. And they are leaving their previous group name NewJeans behind for a while. But we have not completely abandoned the name. The period was when we were active as NewJeans, was precious to us and our fans, so we do not want to do that. And then they further do some mudslinging during this conference where Danielle said, I have completely lost faith in ADOR. We believe that we will win the battle against Hybe and ADOR. Hani said there's nothing that can stop us anymore. And regarding the new branding of their name, they said it's definitely different from what people are used to and the image that we had when we debuted. Oh, I thought that was also funny. I forgot which member that said this. But when she said debuted, she didn't say debuted. She said debuted.
Oh.
It's like, this is like K-pop pronunciation of words.
Yeah.
Like, like not how you're actually. Anyway. And
Anyway.
she said, we're going to break away from our existing girl next door image and pursue a sharper and bolder style. We love wearing street fashion and genderless clothes, and I think
There's that word again,
concept-
genderless,
Oh,
2025.
yeah, it's hot. And I think that concept and aspect will play a strong role in our new fashion. So, this is mainly a reference. So, at the accompanying this press conference, they they published a new set of concept images of themselves, of each individual member, and their kind of new direction of their apparel. I think you can just get a lot just by the way they stylize the text of their name, NJZ. And I hate to say it, but it looks very aespa.
Yeah,
But
that's what
didn't copyright Chrome though. It's
I
still
know.
Y2K.
Yeah.
And
but
yeah,
it's a certain kind of Y2K though, right? It's not like real, late 90s, early 2000s Y2K. It is like chrome, like you said, chrome, very like metal, like, piercings and why am I forgetting the word? Like, rings and like necklaces and stuff. Like
Chains?
Chains, yes. It has a lot of that. A lot of like the sharp textures and then like the bubbly font that's, metallic.
I think, though, another point other than just their fashion was the fact that they were all wearing red contacts, which was a very intense image change, but still kind of reminiscent of like their bunny aesthetic, but they're not no longer just cute bunnies. They're the red-eyed angry bunnies.
Yeah, there was like some discussion of the red eyes and like what it means online from netizens, the fandom, and like that being like symbolic of like their revenge, their vindication. But I don't know. I think maybe that's part of it, but I think it's also just like they think it looks cool.
I thought it looked cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
So thank you for the intro and the recap of the press conference for all of us who were not able to watch it. Just watching this story unfold as a longtime K-pop fan, as we on the K-pop cast are, we've been around since, third or second or first generation. This is not the first time that an artist, a group has had, big fight with their label, with their management, and have, sought to terminate their contracts or change their name or get access to their name. A lot of this, we have seen it before, and it's actually like pretty commonplace in K-pop, in the industry. Because a big part of K-pop is that the labels have so much control over whatever the artists are doing, and there's just there's an inherent tension there. And so as we go through more of the details of this case and our predictions, I'm just thinking of and like would love to jump in and offer examples that relate or sound similar to what we're seeing now. I'm thinking of Dongbang Shingi and JYJ. I'm thinking of more recently GOT7 and Luna, EXO-CBX, just like all of these artists and groups who have come out on opposing sides that have come out opposing their own label or fighting them in some way.
Yeah. Oh, it's certainly the case with like a major label, and then those artists trying to go more independent. But yeah.
Yeah.
So anyway, when we first decided we were going to cover this topic, I just kind of posted a link in our Hot Issue Slack channel, and then Sarah Spencer chimed in saying like, I view it almost as vexing as politics because it's both are breaking laws without due process all over the place. And I didn't even consider that the legal aspect when I was first like, oh, this is interesting, because I thought it was really interesting from a PR, publicity, and court of public opinion perspective. But Sarah raises a great point. This is like the main issue. So their legal status is not yet determined, which is why this is all the more interesting. So ADOR maintains that the group is still under an exclusive contract. ADOR has filed 2 lawsuits against the group. They've also filed for an injunction to prevent NJZ from signing advertising deals. And a preliminary court hearing is scheduled for March 2025, and the main suit will go to trial on April 2025, which will focus on the topic of contract validity. So, things are not yet determined, legally speaking, just yet.
Yeah, and I also wanted to call out what Dina also mentioned in the Slack, where they talk about in these press conferences and the interviews that they don't think they've done anything wrong, and she was asking, where are they getting this legal advice from? Like, where are they getting the support to be saying these kinds of things? And what we do know, at least for what has been released publicly, is that they do have legal representation. They're currently represented by Shin and Kim, a Korean law firm, a very big Korean law firm that's been around since the 80s. And it's the same law firm that is currently representing Min Hee-jin. To also add to the timeline, Peter, so in March 7th is their first injunction hearing. And also on March 7th is when Min Hee-jin has her first court hearing in regards to her case with B-Lift and her defamation and obstruction of business lawsuit that they had put against her in regards to her talking about eyelets their group being a New Jeans copycat. So March is going to be a very interesting time for both NJZ, Min Hee-jin, and ADOR and B-Lift.
So these are the same lawyers that were like face palming during her press conference.
Yes.
Okay. Which is interesting because, like, I don't know if I'm to trust what Hollywood tells me, you know, based off of what I've seen in like movies and film, which I'm sure is not a very well verified source. It seems like sometimes, like, you know, law firms will try to stoke publicity incidents to try to get prospective jurors to, you know, be on their side and make it such a big issue that it's impossible to ignore. But I don't know. Maybe that was the strategy here.
Yeah. I'm thinking here of back in 2009 when 3 members of the group Dongbang Shingi decided to walk away from then the biggest label in second gen, SM Entertainment. This group famously went out and almost immediately started releasing music and started performing even while their lawsuit against SM was still active. The lawsuit went on for like 3 years between 2009 and 2012, but they hopped from signing with Avex Entertainment in Japan to going over to CJ Entertainment and you know, trying to perform, releasing music, and SM was this whole time maintaining you guys are still under exclusive contract with us. And you know, while the courts are deciding, SM started to take action under their own purview. So they were actually found by the FTC. SM was actually found by the FTC to have illegally like blacklisted JYJ from appearing on music shows and from getting different advertising deals. And so as I hear ADOR making these statements, like, I just wonder what is ADOR's plans here to possibly enforce on the contract before the courts make a decision. We could see something similar to 2009.
Yeah, it sounds like it's just a race, you know?
Yeah.
Like, hey, let's get as much work action as we can, or let's try to control them. Let's try to blacklist them, you know, from basically competing with our own, like, I'm thinking of Islet, you know, like,
exactly.
Hey, let's try to prevent them from competing further with Islet or Le Seraphim. So that was the other interesting thing about this. Like, you know, we're seeing like very hyperbolic, very outlandish statements by the members of New Jeans themselves. Like, hey, we did nothing wrong.
Outlandish.
You know, we have, well, I don't know, maybe not outlandish, but like, just like,
It's like
I
bold.
would not expect, very bold, like very hyperbolic, but like, it was just like, you know, we did nothing wrong. Like, you know, we believe that we are on the right side of history here. And you can say that, but I think in the context of the press conference, you know, before like legal proceedings have come out, I don't know, it feels like you can get in trouble for saying that, was my impression. So in response to NJZ going out, ADOR, of course, issued their own statement saying that, hey, you know, ADOR said their current position is that the group's unilateral rebranding decision is deeply regrettable. So actually, let me just read the full statement. So this is ADOR. And I think it's always funny. Like, I think there's something in the Korean language where you're required to say, hi, you know, we are this. So anyway, the first line says, we would like to share ADOR's position regarding NewJeans' announcement of the new team name. It is deeply regrettable that the member has made this unilateral decision before any legal ruling has been made regarding the validity of their exclusive contracts with ADOR. ADOR will continue to do our best to protect the brand value of NewJeans. That's an interesting phrase. Additionally, we would like to clarify once more that we are always open to meeting with NewJeans members or their legal representatives to resolve any misunderstandings and discuss the group's future activities.
My door is always open.
Yeah, right.
We've heard that
right.
before.
Yeah. But I think it's interesting, like, this is me before like reading up on like not realizing that the legal decisions have been made. Like I thought it was interesting that ADOR said like, hey, we have to protect our brand, our IP, New Jeans. But it's like, are you going to keep using New Jeans? Like, no, you've like they're already at the door. But it sounds like they're trying to imply the plausibility of like, oh, well, maybe we'll, work with them again. Or maybe, we'll continue to use this brand. But anyway, it's just a move to, make things harder, I think, for their former group. And
Yes, I think that's what it
less
is.
competitive for their current artists, I think.
Yeah, I don't think they have plans to actually do something with that name, but they're just holding on to it so that the girls can't have it.
Right.
Right.
Tying that back to 50-50.
Yes.
In their situation, obviously, three members did leave, and one girl stuck around, and they re-debuted her as 50-50 with a couple other girls, and now they are 50-50 while the other members are trying to debut with a new name. Technically, though, there's not a quite one-to-one, because if we feed into Minhee Jin's allegations, they've technically already done this with Islet.
New
But
Jeans
wouldn't
Part
that
2.
be interesting if, like, Hive just, really wanted to poke the bear, and they were like, yeah, we've got New Jeans again, and it's like all new members. It's not the first time, like, what?
I wouldn't put it past them.
Yeah, but also we've had K-pop groups in the past where none of the original members from the debut and founding are the ones that end. like it's a completely new cast. So what is it, that defines a group in K-pop if the members can change and like there's no originally existing founding member?
Yeah. I'm reminded here of how the thing with the name went differently for our beloved group GOT7. They famously were in a really drawn out struggle, like power struggle with JYP, and like not being supported and invested in as a group. And then all 7 members of GOT7 decided to not renew their contract with JYP. But they laid low, and after a few years, they were all able to sign the paperwork that would allow them to gain the rights, the trademark to their group name and use it and release music, because JB famously and some other members had maintained a cordial, friendly relationship with some of the executives inside JYP. So it wasn't a battle to actually get the name. It was easily handed off to the group, but it was more of the struggle came before that process, as the group members were deciding whether to renew or not. So we could see something here where the name is transferred over to the girls later. I don't know. I'm not seeing much friendly conversation though between ADOR and members so far.
Well, I'm
so
sure
maybe
ADOR
not.
wants to hold on to it as a bargaining chip. Like,
Yeah.
oh, well, we'll give it to you in exchange for X percentage of whatever deals you have with advertisers using the name or whatever, right?
Yeah, and a big difference with GOT7 is they had been active for so many years, right? I'm sure JYP saw their potential as diminishing or decreasing, and they're like, oh, okay, yeah, you can have it. Whereas New Jeans, they were supposed to be the group with the highest potential in all of K-pop, and so the stakes are higher of who gets this name, the trademark.
Yeah. I'm also reminded of Viva's. It's a G-Friend, got swallowed up into Hybe, and then were like forcibly disbanded.
Yeah.
And, they didn't keep their G-Friend name.
But they did have a comeback recently
As G-Friend?
Yes,
Oh,
as G-Friend.
okay. Well, there you go.
But it wasn't like it took years for this to actually come around.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and something we haven't quite named like right on the nose, maybe we're getting to it, is after a dispute like this, can the artist's career recover?
Yes.
Right. That's what we're all wondering. That's kind of what we're moving towards in the conversation, is like, yeah, we can have all these legal battles and the artist can win, you know, but they don't come out unscathed. And I don't think we've ever seen a case where an artist that goes through something like this, like, maintains the same trajectory, right, of popularity, album sales, that kind of thing. There's definitely
it's a major hit.
It's a hit. Yeah.
You know, to the relevance. And like, I don't know, like, Stephanie, maybe you can tell me what you've seen in like looking back, but to me, it has seemed like, a lot of times where we've seen this in the past, like, yes, you know, there are PR cycles around, or news cycles around the issue and the legal battles. But usually the artists aren't as proactive in creating a news cycle for themselves on it, or using it to be like, and everything is fine, and and I'm gonna keep doing my own thing. And it seems like maybe in those eras past, maybe that was an effort by the you know, the label to kind of like halt or slow the momentum of the idol or the performer, and it paid off in, like, you know, the label's favor, so that, you know, they could just not necessarily win the court of public opinion, but just make the artist and make the issue less hot, and people just forget about it. But here it seems like they're both racing. They're
Yes.
both pushing at each other.
I agree. Yeah.
And that was, oh, go ahead, Stephanie.
No, yeah, I think you're absolutely right that in most of the examples, as we were doing the research, we have not seen the artists themselves like come out swinging in a press conference. It's like they don't want to have it be a big splash. They want to solve things behind closed doors if they can, but then Dispatch like puts them on blast. Like, we found these documents. The artist is trying to leave. The closest I can think of is JYJ. Back in 2009, those three members of Dongbang Shingi who did go out, I think because they wanted to promote and to start making money and be on those music shows. They wanted to have the public opinion be on their side. I remember one quote was that even while SM Entertainment was obviously blacklisting JYJ's activities, I think it was Mickey Yuchun who said, even though we're actively in legal battle and being blacklisted, we are making so much more money right now than when we were in SM, because SM was taking like all of our money and just paying us pennies. So we're going to go for it. We're going to swing for the moon here because now we get to keep all of it. Right. So I wonder if that's a little of what is happening here.
Yeah, I'm sure it is. I like, on one hand, I don't want to deny that a lot goes into debuting a group, you know, like coming up with a concept, coming up with the lane, composing the members, you know, training the members up. It's a lot. So like, there's a huge sunk cost, you know, for the company. Of course, they're trying to make it back. But I guess the real question is like, well, is that sustainable such that you have to like barely pay your artists once they start cashing out? Obviously, it's in the artist's favor to try to go solo after you've already made a name for yourself through a powerful debut. So the other reason why we wanted to cover this topic was just that question you were getting at, Stephanie. Because originally, when you guys were talking about the end of NewJeans, and I couldn't join you for that episode, but I was like really bearish. I was like, you know what? This is probably like NewJeans was like on the number one of my list of whatever that end of the year episode that we did not publish, but we talked about. Where I said like NewJeans is on top of the world, and then this controversy like puts them at the bottom, and I am not optimistic for their future. This press conference kind of like changed things again for me. Like they're kind of really relevant again. And it was just really interesting how NewJeans, or NJZ, excuse me, took control of their own narrative. So I think it's worth noting that they made this press conference announcement on February 7th at 7:02 p.m., which is like a reverse, it's a mirror of their debut date of July 22nd. So it was like, you remember when Jessica published her book on the same day of same thing here, right?
The lore.
So, yes. So this was very much on purpose on the NJZ side, right? Like they're really trying to poke the bear. And I thought it was really interesting that, they did it. On one hand, it's really professional and like really unprofessional in how they did it in a PR way. Professional in the sense that you could see that they pre-roofed a number of reporters on this announcement.
Yeah.
They had a number of broadcast interviews lined up the moment they made this announcement. So on that hand, they looked very professional, right? They had coverage with CNN, CNBC, and Complex. And then on the other hand, on the unprofessional side, I was just taken aback by the audacity of some of the comments that they were making during the press conference itself. I was like, whoa, I would never, coach a spokesperson to say these things. And yet I think it's working for them because the lack of polish, honestly, makes it come off as more genuine, right?
I'm getting deja vu from Minhee Jin's press conference where she famously came dressed casually, with the baseball cap, the green sweater that went flying off the shelves. And she styled herself and spoke casually, she said some profanity, right? She styled herself as a woman of the people, and every woman that viewers, all the sole office workers, feminists could identify with. So I don't think it's a coincidence that the NJZ members are also kind of trying to
play the same playbook. Yeah. But although with the Minhee Jin press conference, I think she was maybe memed and satirized in a negative way. Kind of people are kind of laughing at her rather than, with her from that press conference. In this case, I feel I don't know, fans are really on their side. And, they're yeah, NewJeans did do nothing wrong. And it doesn't even matter what the facts were. It just the way they came off and said it, I just thought was really interesting. What's also interesting is that, look at the media that they chose. These are all Western leading.
You said CNBC?
CNBC,
wow.
CNN, and Complex.
Complex.
And Complex is interesting
American.
because they already made plans, right? So it sounds like there's what is it, Complex Con?
Yep.
And
in Hong Kong.
In Hong Kong. So does this count as an advertising integration, right? Which would mean they're breaching their contract. But I'm certain money was exchanged, hands were shook, in doing this. And it looks like Complex was one of the major people to make this announcement. And I kind of want to ask, Jeff Benjamin and Tamar Herman, was it Complex who reached out to you? Which PR rep reached out to you on this news?
Yeah.
My read of their coverage, sorry, we could ask them just directly, but as a PR pro, my read of their coverage was that it was Complex that briefed them on this news. Now I could be wrong. This is me tinfoil hat mode, but based off of how they covered the announcement, it seemed
and how Complex would benefit from more coverage. Yeah.
Yeah, well, get attendance for their event and like news
Exactly.
coverage, like traffic,
especially their event, because as far as like the history of Complex Con in Hong Kong, this is only the second year, but New Jeans would be the first K-pop group to perform at this event.
They need that.
I think, a lot of people think about Complex as just like more like hip hop leaning,
Right.
but it's generally refers to itself as like covering youth culture. And like the CEO of Complex China was Bonnie Chan Wu. She mentioned in her statement about like, NJZ have always set themselves apart as trailblazers, especially in K-pop, with their distinct sound and especially like their nostalgic style and Y2K aesthetic. And they make a point to mention that this stage marks a pivotal new chapter in the artistic evolution, and hosting their iconic debut as NJZ is an honor for Complex. So Complex is definitely in their corner right now.
Yeah, they had their own version of a press release, basically. So I think it's interesting the fact that we see like let's. Sorry, I'm making an assumption here. But like assuming that Complex, was a major business brand partner behind NJZ, could there be more, right? More brands, more advertisers, more companies looking to get behind NJZ? And if so, does that give NJZ confidence to just go ahead and, fight whatever legal battle they've got with ADOR, because they're going to be making enough money otherwise? So, that could be what's happening, behind the scenes. This is me, again, very on a caveat, like tinfoil hat, speculation mode. So I guess, some questions like, how do you think they will maintain their brand? What do you guys think? Like how going from New Jeans to NJZ, how do you think they will maintain the brand while legally distancing themselves from what came before?
Well, who comes to mind here in terms of changing the name and possibly going back and struggling with that is Luna. All right, so Luna famously sued BlackBerry Creative or filed an injunction so that they could terminate their contracts. Did not get access to the name Luna right away, and so the members kind of scattered into different subunits. The biggest one, I think, naming themselves Lucemble and moving to a smaller label, and then the contract with that smaller label ended in 1 year, so it was kind of like they were in a holding pattern. They released a lot of stuff, and now they don't have that name anymore. Some of the members are changing their Instagram handle from saying Lucemble to back to Luna now in 2025, and so the business and legal piece is definitely getting in the way of the momentum. But what I'm seeing is like fans are following what the members are doing. The fans will follow to Lucemble or Luna or Artemis. Probably not with the same level of momentum. There's definitely a hit here, but fans' hearts will stay with the actual people behind the name.
And when you say fans, you're referring to like the core, the diehard fans.
Yeah,
right?
the diehard fans. Yeah, I don't know if they're going to capture
about the addressable market, right? Like that's
yeah.
Just the one sliver, right?
Exactly. We're going to have to adjust expectations heavily.
So, look, obviously, from a branding, publicity, fandom, perspective, it's better if you can maintain that continuity.
Totally.
Adding multiple rebrands in, you risk just losing chunks of the fandom, chunks
everybody
of
but the
prospective
diehards.
fans. Yeah, like at every time you do that. And this is a business where like that momentum is everything. You have to keep pushing it, you have to keep giving it fire, you have to keep it going to stay relevant as long as possible. And I think that's why New Jeans chose the name they did, because it seemed like it was just close enough while still being different. what do you think of the fandom name? Do you think they're gonna maintain bunnies? Or the light sticks? Probably not the light sticks.
No. It's probably going to have to change too. Like, bunnies are probably going to have to get a whole name, a whole change, a new identity. Like, we specifically, like, to your point about light sticks, Peter, I know when Icon left YG, like, and they had their first tour right after, they couldn't sell any of their original Icon merch on their tour at all because of the contracts with YG had with all the other actual distributors of that merch. So I don't think any of that would come over, especially if they don't keep their name.
Yeah, same thing with BB Girls, formerly known as Brave Girls. Brave Entertainment held on to their name, although they tried they tried with BB Girls, and we're still fans of them, but definitely the momentum tanked. They haven't been able to do much.
Yeah. BB Girls just doesn't roll off the tongue like Brave Girls. And I hate to say it, but like BB Girls doesn't sound as in vain with Brave Girls as NJZ sounds closer to New Jeans. Maybe it's just something that we've become accustomed to as like Western K-pop fans, but BB Girls could sound like any number of K-pop groups that might not be Brave Girls.
Yeah.
So
yeah, a name does matter. You're right.
What do you think at the rebranding in terms of their look and their concept? Like, do you think that will keep them going? Because it's a very different, decision from going from like the denim, bunny ears cap, to something more aespa inspired. Like, will it pay off for them? And I kind of want to say it probably will.
I think it will, because if Minhee Jin is still in their corner, this could have been a future plan for them already in place from her. Because like she, according to her, she crafted all of New Jeans' original image from beginning till now. So I would expect that maybe she had an evolution for them in mind, especially as they grew up, So I feel like it's going to do well, because it's still the same cooks in the kitchen, maybe not with the music, but definitely with the concept and the look.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Okay, so now let me throw a hypothetical at y'all. Let's say, we go into March, we go into April, and NJZ loses. They fall flat on their face in every legal battle. What then? What do you think will happen? No.
If we believe ADOR, their door is always open, so we could assume that they will just go back to being New Jeans and be under ADOR, and that's what they'll be doing forward. And now, what that means for their career, don't know, but assumedly, that's what would happen, because technically their contracts are still with ADOR.
Yeah, that would be tough. I'm sure they'll get an offer from ADOR, probably a lowball offer, to come back, come crawling back.
and just like die in a closet, and not be utilized.
Yeah, they wouldn't get the same amount of attention or investment as they did before. They wouldn't be celebrated. They might even just like take the group back and then disband them, or put them in the dungeon, debut somebody as a soloist. Like how might they try and get value out of the last years of the contract? Ooh.
Put them to work in the dungeon. So I think just lastly, I think this is just really interesting from like a precedent perspective. Like as Sarah mentioned in her comment on Slack, like we're seeing a lot of parallels to this in like U.S. politics right now, in the sense that like it doesn't even matter. Doesn't matter what the law is. You're just gonna do it, and
we're in the Wild West again.
We are indeed in the Wild West. Like until there's someone to come around and like hit you with a stick, like truly enforce you and like enforce you to the letter of the law, people are going to push that boundary as far as they can. And we're seeing that in K-pop right now. And, you know, if NJZ is looking to be hyper pragmatic, and as they should be, and they want the success of themselves as artists and whatever like independent, you know, label or, you know, company that they're founding, like they should do this, because what else do they have to lose at this point? And I think it'll be probably a turning point for like artist rights, honestly, in K-pop, you know, coming out of this. We'll see. I don't know, but like I think they're illustrating to other artists, they are paving the way that you can do your own thing. You know, what's most important is that you've got your following in K-pop, that you milk your crowd, that you continue to engage with your fans, and just be yourself, you know, throughout the entire process.
Yeah, I think like you said, Peter, that could be what saves them, is that the fans have always wanted this like authentic relationship with the people behind the group name. And through their decisions here, how they're carrying themselves and speaking in the press conference, we might be able to see something we never have before. Leaning into authenticity, vulnerability, quote unquote.
Yeah. That sounds good. Do we want to wrap up here? Is there anything else that you wanted us to go over, Peter?
No, I'll just say that it seems to work for Taemin as well. You know, he's doing his thing. And shout out to Stephanie for getting tickets to his show in Oakland.
Can't
which
wait.
is like the same night I have a K-pop DJ gig, and I'm wondering why we booked that on the same night as Taemin, but whatever.
Taemin's almost
fine.
sold out. It's like,
yeah. Okay. Well, you'll know where to reach us all. Thanks for joining us for this episode of the K-pop Cast. Plug your socials, Stephanie.
Sure. You can find me on Instagram at Catchlight27.
I'm at DJ Peter Lowe.
And I'm at PD Nim on our K-pop Cast Slack, and you can find all of us on our K-pop Cast Slack.
And if you want to support the show, please consider donating to our Ko-fi.
All right. See y'all later.
Bye, everybody.
I'm turning